That's right, a little sword fight going on. Today is May 5th, and we're going to talk about what your assignments are for today. So, first and foremost, we know that the attendance check-in is step number 1. We are at 21 days straight of perfect attendance and handing in work, okay? And I was thinking to myself, at the all the way up to the very last day of school, if we keep this up, we will have 30 days straight. And I can promise you that there's nobody else in this district that has been able to do that. So I think our overall major goal is going to be 30 days straight, Phoenix. I think that would be a huge accomplishment. So let's keep that up. But first and foremost, we have another perfect day of attendance check-in. So that makes 21 days. And so let's continue to keep up the good work, right? That's a lot of days, isn't it? Ooh, yeah. All right. Man, don't break my hand. All right, so step number 2 is going to be watching this video for your assignments, okay? And we're going to go over what you need to do. You should have one of the packets in your hand. If you do not have a packet yet, you need to contact me as soon as possible so that we can figure out how to get one of those in your hands. So if you have your packet, you need to go ahead and have that in front of you right now so that you're ready as we go over a couple assignments that are going to be in that packet. So let's go ahead and jump into the very first thing that you're going to be working on today. The very first thing for today is in your packet, and it is Tuesday, number 20, Daily Language and Math. So you can go ahead and flip over to that in your packet right now. I actually took an idea from a couple of students who have been doing this. Some students actually write D-O at the top of the page as I am going over them in the video so that it reminds them that they're doing these each individual pages, and they are working them as I go through them in the videos and teach some of the lessons. So have that out in front of you. Go ahead and do some of those things as we talk about them. Write do at the top of the page so you don't do the wrong page out of your packet. I know the Daily Language and Math, sometimes there's a Tuesday and a Thursday in there. Don't get confused. We are on Tuesday, number 20, okay? So, top, correct these sentences. You know what to do. Use your editor's marks. Find errors in the sentence, any and all, spelling, capitalization, punctuation, anything that is wrong with the sentence to make it correct, and then fix those mistakes. Number 3, it says add a suffix to the word. You know that we've been working on prefixes and suffixes. Pre means before, so whenever you add something to the beginning of a root or base word, that is a prefix. When you add something to the end, that is a suffix, and that's what they want you to do here. Here is the base word, quick, and you're going to add a suffix to the end of the word quick to change its meaning by putting a suffix on the end of it. So suffixes like Y, LY, ED, EST. We've talked about a ton of suffixes this year, right? Yeah. So you're going to pick the correct suffix to put on the end of the word quick to make it a new word and write that on the line. Now, for 4 and 5, it talks about subject pronoun or object pronoun. All right? Well, we have used this same anchor chart on our pronoun problems throughout these last couple of weeks. So just to kind of review this, I will have this posted on the post for today. So you'll have that attachment on there so you can refer to it. It gives you a list of subject pronouns and it gives you a list of object pronouns, okay? So you are going to use this list to kind of help you with these two problems. Now, one thing that you need to kind of refresh your memory about when we talk about subject pronoun and object pronoun, a subject pronoun takes place in the subject of a sentence. We worked on that a lot too. You know that in a sentence we have a subject and we have a predicate. The subject tells who or what the sentence is talking about. It comes at the beginning of the sentence. The predicate tells what the subject is or is doing in the sentence. That is that last part of the sentence. Now, in order to find and separate your subject from your predicate, you always look for that verb. And I've done this on number 4 for you, so you should be writing this down in your packet as I'm talking about it. It says, Steve gave me his ski poles to borrow. Now, I have put a line here like we practice all year. We put that line there to separate our subject from our predicate. Well, I know gave is a verb, so that's going to start my predicate. And I know Steve, obviously, is a person, which is a noun. and that is who the sentence is about. So that's going to be my subject. This is going to be my predicate. The pronoun that they want you to tell, whether it's a subject pronoun or an object pronoun, is in the predicate. Remember, subject pronoun takes place in the subject, object pronoun takes place in the predicate. You could also look back to this list and see where me falls in the column, and that will also help you with your answer. So, all you're going to do is write subject pronoun or object pronoun on the line right there. Right, Phoenix?
Yeah.
Right over here. Nice, neat handwriting so Mr. Wright can read it, and that's what you're going to do. Now, for number 5, you're going to do the same thing I did. Draw a line that separates your subject, who or what the sentence is talking about, from your predicate. What the subject is or is doing in the sentence. Find that verb, okay? That will help you separate the subject and predicate. See where the pronoun takes place. And based on my definition of subject pronoun and object pronoun, that's going to give you the answer, okay? So, moving right along down to the math. We have simple multi-digit times a single-digit multiplication. Yes, you do need to show your work here. Do your multiplication, your traditional algorithm. It's a very simple problem. I realize that. But remember, we show work on any and all problems. 90 divided by 9, a simple basic fact. You can go ahead and write the answer down there. Now, when we get to number 3, Phoenix, this is where we've also talked about probability. Probability is the chance of something actually happening, okay? So, for example, if I said, what is the probability of me rolling a 3 on a single die? You know, you guys have, and when we talk about die, usually it's dice when you have more than one. It's those things you roll and they have numbers on them. They are numbered 1 through 6, okay? Well, if I have one die and I want to know what's the probability of me rolling a 3, I have to think about all the possible outcomes first, okay? When I think about a single die, if I roll it one time, I can either land on a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. Right, Phoenix?
Yeah.
So, if I want to know the probability of landing on a 3, I have to think about all the total outcomes and then think about how many chances I have to land on a 3 if I were to roll it one time. Well, that's simple. There's only one 3 on there, so therefore I have a 1 out of 6 chance because there's 6 possible outcomes. And therefore I can put that as a fraction as well. 1 over 6. I have a 1 out of 6 chance of rolling a 3 on a regular number die. Okay? That's just one example. So, remember, when we talk about fractions, that's the total amount that you have altogether to make the whole. Well, here's the total amount of outcomes. Goes in my denominator. How many 3's do I have? Just 1. So if I roll it one time, I have a 1 out of 6 chance of rolling a 3. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Another example would be if we were to flip a coin. When you flip a coin, what are the different options that you have?
There's like a human one and then...
Which is heads, and then there's tails, right?
Yeah.
So we have heads and we have tails. There's 2 possible outcomes. When I flip a coin, what's it going to land on? It's either going to land on heads or it's going to land on tails, right? So if I want to know the probability of it landing on heads, well, I think about possible outcomes. There are 2. Therefore, that's my denominator. How many heads are there? There's only 1. So I have a 1 out of 2 chance to roll or to land on heads if I was to flip a coin. Okay? So, 2 concrete examples there that go along with this problem right here. Number 3, it says if there are 6 red tiles and 5 blue tiles in a box, what are the chances you will pick a red tile without looking? Okay? So, first of all, you're going to do the same thing that I just talked about. You've got to figure out how many possible outcomes there are total. You figure that out by adding up all of the possible outcomes that will be in this box. Then you think about how many are red, and then there is your fraction, your total amount on the bottom, and then how many are actually red for the top on the numerator, and that's going to tell you a blank out of blank chance of getting a red tile without looking. Okay? Number 4 is, it says write the number 285 in word form. We know the difference between standard form and word form. We've also worked with expanded form. That's kind of a 2nd and 3rd grade thing, but we built on that this year as well. 285 is written in standard form. They want you to write it in word form. That means you have to write this particular number, 285, and you're going to write it out, spell it out using words on the line. You guys know how to do that. Number 5 is a time problem. It talks about, she noticed every 5 minutes there are 2 commercials, and then it says, if the game lasts 2 hours, how many commercials will Anita see? Well, first of all, you're working in minutes right here, and then they give it to you in hours. You need to convert 2 hours to minutes, and then you're going to be able to figure out how many commercials you'll be able to see. Once again, you need to show your work. First off, you need to underline the question and circle the important information. That is a strategy we use since day 1, and you know that that is part of getting your points for the work. You also need to show your work on this page somewhere. Some of you are giving up very, very simple points by not showing your work. If I just see an answer here, even with a unit, and there's no work to be seen, you don't get full credit for that. I don't accept just answers only. You have to show your work on all math problems. That's not anything new, and you are giving up really, really easy points by showing your work. Because the thing about it is that I make this worth a certain amount of points. If you get the answer wrong, but you showed work, you're going to get a lot of the credit even though you got the wrong answer. But if you got the answer right but didn't show any work, you're losing a lot of the credit because you didn't show how you got there. So, I can't say it enough, you have to show work, all right? Show your work, nothing new. All right, now moving on to the next thing, and that is going to be our STEM project for this week, okay? This is located in your packet, it's towards the back. Now, most importantly, there are 3 different STEM projects in your packet, okay? We're not only focused on one of them, and it is the one called Move It. You need to make sure you find the one that's called Move It right now and put Do at the top of the page so that you keep track. You don't want to end up doing the wrong STEM project this week because you're going to go to turn this thing in and I'm going to say, well, that's not the correct one, and then you're going to have to be rushing around to get the original STEM project I assigned done. So, Move It is the title of this. Jose worked in a factory using a wheelbarrow to transport tiles. Your challenge is to create a wheelbarrow including a moving wheel, okay, to transport 3 dice. It says 3 dice, but I'm going to go ahead, cross that out, and you can put pennies, okay, since we've been working with pennies anyway. I want you to cross this out and we're going to use pennies instead of dice, okay? So, on your STEM paper that you're going to hand in, because you're going to have to hand in this first page here, I want to see this scratched out, and put pennies out to the side. You will have 25 minutes to complete this. No, you won't. You're going to cross this last sentence out, so I should also see that. That tells me that you're working along with me in these videos and you are really following really, really good directions, right, Phoenix? Okay, so cross out dice, put pennies, and cross out this because there's no time limit, all right? Now, here's your materials. You need to stick to these materials. You may, as always, supplement things in. You have to build your wheelbarrow from scratch, okay? That means from nothing, you're going to actually build it from scratch. Now, it talks about cardboard, toothpicks. If you want to stick to these things, that's fine. If you want to supplement the toothpicks out for like actual sticks from a tree, because some of you like to go big or go home, I know that. And some of you really like to build these things pretty big and awesome and get really challenging with them and make them real elaborate. So say that you want to build a bigger version of a wheelbarrow, but toothpicks are too small to hold it together. Go out and pull some limbs off of the tree and use those. I mean, you can supplement. You're not limited on size, okay? So here's your materials. You can supplement that in, but you need to use the majority of these, and you can supplement other things in as needed depending on the size of your wheelbarrow, okay? So I'm anxious to see. Now, in your demonstration, it has to hold the pennies, however many pennies or weights that you can get in there, because that's what it boils down to. It's not about how much money it holds, it's about how much weight it holds. And it has to function. You have to actually have working wheels. That goes along with your lesson yesterday where we talked about simple machines and a wheel and axle, right? Well, guess what? You're building a simple machine right here, so it all ties together, guys. You guys learned a lot about simple machines yesterday, the wheel and axle, and how that actually works. And you're going to build something that has a wheel and axle movement for a simple machine. Now, on the Imagine and Plan, you know what I expect on this. You need a detailed drawing with labels and measurements. You need to tell me how big or small this thing's going to be. You need to also write complete sentences out here to the side. One sentence does not explain to me how you're building this, okay? I've talked about this before. You know that contractors that show up to build a house, or they're expanding the highway out here next to my house, they don't just show up to the job and say, well, I think we're going to start over here and then we're just going to kind of wing it. No, they have a detailed blueprint with measurements, diagrams, everything they need to know to get the job done correctly. Okay? So, step one for today, you don't even have to start the building process. What you need to get done today is you need to fill out this first page of your STEM project, okay? And gather your materials and get ready to build for tomorrow, okay? And so you're going to take a picture of this, and this is going to be handed in with your daily language and math. So you have two things that you're going to be turning in to me via text message or email. That is the daily language and math completed, showing all your work, and it is this first page completed, showing all of your details, your drawing, and multiple sentences, complete sentences with capitalization, punctuation. You know how I am about that. There's still some of you that are struggling with that. We've been working with that all year. It shouldn't be a big deal. A good little summary of how you're going to build this thing so that I know you are ready to go. So you're going to take a picture of this and your daily language and math. That needs to be turned into me today so that you can get your points for those assignments, okay? And then you'll be ready for the building process the next day. Now, if you get extra time and you want to start the building process, that's fine. But a bare minimum for your assignment today is getting this page done and getting it to me so that I know that you have already brainstormed and you have a plan, okay? So, Phoenix, we have another STEM project, and the challenge is, like I said, we'll see who can hold the most pennies. If you want to make that, we'll make it another challenge. So we'll see who can really go over the top and do something really mind-blowing like we had with the canoes. You guys did an excellent job with that. So the only other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was on your assignments for today, you need to find the voting post. I have a post underneath this one right here that is the voting post. It is labeled voting post, okay? And you need to cast your vote. Every student must cast a vote in order to get credit for this assignment. So you're going to go to the post underneath this one. You're going to choose what you want Phoenix and I to do for the challenge this week. You guys have some awesome ideas. And submit your vote. Make sure you hit turn in so you can get credit for that. Step 4, study for the Northeast Region quiz. That quiz is tomorrow. States, capitals, and abbreviations of the Northeast region. You're going to have a quiz. Hopefully you've been studying this last week that you've been able to do as we completed our study guide last Wednesday. Remember, you're going to have to know them quick because it's going to be timed, okay? So, they're going to have to be on top of their game because you got to be able to recall them quick. You're not going to be able to have time to look at the answer, okay? So, STEM project due Friday as always. Study for the Northeast Region quiz. Make sure that you are prepared. And one last thing. The winner of the Simple Machines quizzes that happened yesterday was Zayden Clark. So I'm going to start announcing the winners, my top 4 for the quizzes, okay? Zayden was first. Jay Snotts, second place. Maya Brooks, third place, and Alyssa Raines, fourth place. So there's your top 4. So a little bit of motivation. Be prepared for the Northeast Region quizzes, and you are going to be ready to go, and we'll have kind of a little competition about it, okay? So that is all right? Those are all your assignments today, and we don't have anything left for you. So, Phoenix, you know what to tell them.
Do good on your work and don't be sloppy.
Okay. Do good on your work. Don't be sloppy. We'll see you next time. Oh, yeah.